today. For those that don't know me, my name is Eve. I am a member of the Miksuk Cree First Nation Treaty 8. I live in Edmonton. We started a movement here almost 20 years ago to raise the alarm and awareness of our missing and murdered women and girls. Today, our movement, which is entirely grassroots, may I add, we do not seek funding from government or industry. We are self-made, and many of us in the movement are survivors, and many of us are family members of those who are missing, murdered, and exploited. I have a personal connection to this place. My younger siblings went to the Atonement Home. At the time, I was not living with our mom. I was in Saskatchewan with my father. And I moved to Edmonton when I was 16, and right away my younger siblings started telling me about their experiences in this Atonement Home. And I just knew it to be somewhere that was not a place where kids felt safe. It was a place where kids were very sad and had a lot of fear and were missing and missing their parents and confused why they were there. And they were not treated well. They shared their truth with me. And I personally have seen the lifelong effects of the harms that happened within which was once walls. This morning I woke up quite earlier than I normally do, and like many of us, I got on my phone and I started scrolling, and I seen this brother's post in the Edmonton Aboriginal or Indigenous Edmonton. Yeah. And I read and seen the photos, and I was like, what the heck did this just happen? Did this happen a year ago? Like, is this current? And I looked closer and closer, and I'm like, no, this is happening now. Like, what the hell? Like, why don't we know this is happening? This is triggering for me, and I didn't spend time in here. I didn't do time in these walls, but my siblings did. And again, I've seen the lifelong harms that places like this had on them and their children. Our late mother, Lucy, was an Indian residential school survivor. In her lifetime, she never recovered from the harms that she endured as a child in the Indian day schools and in those so-called Indian residential schools were pretty much jails for kids. And my mother never recovered from what happened to her. My youngest brother, Ryan, I reached out to him this morning because I was supposed to host a turkey stew for my family. And I said, Ryan, we need to mobilize, me and my advocate sisters and brothers. We need to make some noise about this god-awful place going down because something's happening here. We need to, support the community, all of the community that are survivors of this, and of course those that didn't survive. So those that may have left this facility, this institution, and ended up on the streets, ended up missing, murdered, and exploited, right? We have to think of them too and their families that grieve for them. I want to read something from my brother, Ryan. He sent me a text message. My brother is 6'4". He's like the strong, silent type. And he often, like our mom, he never really opens up. He just keeps it in, right? And I didn't want to over-trigger him either. I was very gentle with him this morning, but I just said to him, as mentioned, that we're going to move the turkey stew to tomorrow. And then he says, so I sent him the article that Stephanie was in with CBC in 2020 when the Pope came here. And he says, I remember when I was a kid, I snuck over to Mom's for lunch while I was in that Atonement Home. When I got back there, he punished me. I was just a little tiny kid at the time, sister. I think we were there for 3 months, maybe even a bit longer, which is very interesting to me because his older brother, my younger brother, Barrett, he could only recall that they were there a few days. So that told me my brother's suppressing some memories here because they were always together here, as far as I know. And he says, be good to get some money back from that, sister, because that traumatized me as a kid. And I can remember the lead up to us going in there for a moment, still to this day, and I'm 40. Like, I can give you a walkthrough of how it was going, how going into it of how the setup was with all the kids. We're in one room, little kids with older kids, big kids picking on little kids. It was a nightmare in there, sister, I'm telling you. Luckily, I had two big bro in there to save me from those big kids picking on me. But it was fucking thugged out in there. And I said to my brother, I'm sorry I wasn't there to protect you. And you will get justice, all of you, for the harms. I can only imagine the fear. I can only imagine the shame my mom had and the fear she had for them when they were in here. So I stand here today with all of you, those that survived and those that didn't. And we are going to continue to make noise. They're not going to cover this up. I have also a personal connection to Catholic Social Services. When I was 17, my mom abandoned me. I was homeless. I was once told that one of the most vulnerable people in our community are homeless youth because they get preyed upon immediately. And there are many different types of predators. I went to Catholic Social Services because someone told me maybe they can help you. So I swallowed my pride. I walked in there, and the worker said to me, after I told her my mom left to Vancouver with my 3 younger siblings, she said to me, "What did you do? What did you do?" she said. And then she gave me a food stamp to Safeway and showed me the fucking door. I ended up not in the system. I ended up in the sex trade. I ended up in a hell that is unimaginable, and I almost died. Today, I am a mother. I am a grassroots advocate leader. I am a mother to 2 beautiful children, Camila and Okichita, sitting there. And it ends here with us. It ends here with us. I cannot imagine when my mother was taken from her parents and brought to those jails for kids, the feelings that her parents must have had, my wisha, my cookum, the helplessness they must have had. So I thank you all for listening. I'm sorry if I've triggered you, but we have to stop suppressing, and we have to get these stories out. We have to keep sharing and supporting each other. And the lateral violence, it has to stop. That is not our way. Lateral violence is killing us. It is literally killing us. Again, hi, Kananaskompton. Thank you for coming and for all of the blessings. It's a small group, but this is how it starts. This is how it starts. So keep fighting. Agamemak, don't give up.